So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is us, Dragon's Greed Gaming, and you are joining us for episode 5 of our Tale of Four Gamers, some Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition. We are back. We have finished 4 months now. We're getting in the home stretch here, and we've got some good progress this week to show off. So, as always, I am joined by my co-hosts, friends, and fellow hobby enthusiasts, Brian, Eric, and Sean. And yeah, we want to show off what we've done so far, and yeah, we'll go from there. So, Sean, why don't you start? You got some cool stuff to show off this month.
Yeah. So I bought a bone giant off of Etsy,
And
and
fellas, if you didn't see it already, I do have pictures of everything in the Discord chat, so you can follow along. And I think they're more or less in order of like start to finish. So
yeah, it
proceed.
definitely looks like it. Yeah. So I bought this bone giant off Etsy. Definitely cooler than the actual bone giant model we got from Games Workshop, 2 decades ago or whatever. Pretty easy to build too. So it was just legs, a torso with a large piece that just drops right into the waist, and then choose 2 arms. So it came with 3 different sets of like weapons. So you had like a sword and a spear, a bow and arrow, and then another sword, and then this sick ass flail emanating like this fire stuff. So I went with flail and sword just because it looked cool, and got to painting. I used a lot of the contrast paints after Eric and Chris explained how to use them properly. Turns out I actually really like them. They put on real easy and real clean.
Is that the red we're seeing there?
Oh yeah. So
Yeah, it looks really good on the bandages, especially around his arms.
So I thought it was an interesting choice. I didn't want to just do like bone colored bandage or bone colored arms and chest. So went with the red on the headpiece and most of the bandages, and then I put some blue. I was gonna layer it up to purple, but I ran out of purple, so I've ordered some more on the like torso area and like the loincloth. And right now I'm trying to go in sort of like a non-metallic gold for the like center scarab piece and his, I don't know, like pauldrons or upper torso chest piece. So I'm currently layering that up. Unfortunately, one of the flail pieces broke while I was painting it, so it makes it a little easier to get inside and paint like the legs and stuff. So I'm kind of okay with it, but I'll have to try pinning it later and see what we can do.
And where do the weapons attach? Like at the wrist to the arm, or is it arms?
No, just a full arm from
I see.
From wrist to shoulder, and then like the weapons are in their hands, and so you just attach the hands.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
You should have magnetized it.
Well, yeah, an option, but this I think came from overseas, so it took a long time to get here. It's like, well, I don't really have time for all that magnetizing stuff. Let's just get to painting.
Yeah, it can be a pain in the ass if you haven't done it ahead of time. Sorry, I keep looking down and making sure I got my timer here. So
that's okay.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, it's a cool model, man. How much that thing run?
Total about $60.
That's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, the size of it, I'm okay with it.
Considering 20 years ago, a bone giant would have ran you $40, and it's probably like half the height of that.
Right.
Looks like it's a pretty tall model.
It was much easier to build this than the metal bone giant.
And it's a total centerpiece model, right? Like what centerpiece model are you getting for $60 anywhere?
That's true. Yeah. I was looking at the GW site today, man. Like $80 for a Defiler, $80 for some of those big Nurgle demon guys from AOS on the big mounts. So yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that's the price we pay for cool models, right?
Yeah. Is there a wash done over the contrast?
Yes.
Okay, because I was gonna say it looks pretty flat in the first picture, and then I see there's some shading in there.
Yeah, so I went with an Agrex earth shade over most of the model, just for like a dark earthy wash.
Yep.
And then layered it back up with some Vallejo paint, red paints. So
okay.
Might go a little bit brighter and see where we can get it, but pretty happy with where the red and bone is right now. I don't want to go with like a real bright white like I did with the skeletons because I don't need it to pop that much. It's already so big.
What is there anything left to do on this thing other than the base?
Yeah, I want to go a little bit higher with the golds. Right now they've only got like 1 or 2 layers, so I might go a little bit brighter. Then after that, I'll actually have to buy a separate base because it didn't come with a base. So I just put
okay.
it on 2 cavalry bases. Yeah. Now probably next I've got to buy, the 400 points worth of characters that make up almost, a fourth of the army. So
Uh, any work done on any of the skellies?
I keep adding new layers occasionally, seeing how they look from afar. Not sure when I'll actually consider them done, but
And
at this point they're all like,
how big's the unit?
well, there's 2. There's one 20-man unit of sword and shield guys, and then a 10-man unit of bows. So right now they're like table ready, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the next 2 months.
Cool. All right. Yeah, for our listeners, it's actually been about 6 weeks since we last recorded because we had to keep delaying and postponing our session here. So we've had a lot of extra time than we normally do. And next month's recording is probably going to be really short for us, maybe only 2-3 weeks if we want to keep on schedule here. So everybody's got to cram the next session. I expect results, people.
Okay. Do what I can. You're the boss.
Taskmaster, go. Cool. All right. So what's the plan for next month? What's the goal?
I'll probably buy like a Tomb Prince off Etsy. I mean, ideally, I'd want to wait until Games Workshop drops their dope ass Tomb Prince's models, but I'll just get one from Etsy because I don't I don't see them dropping anything in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. And then what's the total what is everything that's going to be in the army? What's the ideal 1,000 points here?
The 2 core units, the 2 heroes, Bone Giant, and then I was thinking of buying some Tomb Scorpions for like the last bit, just because Tomb Scorpions are pretty cool, and some of the models on Etsy are pretty solid.
Didn't you get some horsemen too?
I did, but there's no good horse lich priest model. So
you don't like the old one Games Workshop put out?
No.
Yeah, that model sucks.
I hate that one.
It does. It sucks.
So I'm just gonna throw him probably in the archer unit and keep them away from bad guys, as like a bodyguard, so my entire army doesn't collapse because of one rule.
Crumbling. Good times.
Love it.
Yeah.
Vampire counts get a cool, super powerful vampire lord to protect their army from crumbling. I get some dinky 2-wound priest.
I mean, to be fair, it's usually hard to pick out characters in fantasy. So
it's true.
But yeah, I don't know, be pro. until your buddy shows up with his catapult and scores a direct hit and does D6 wounds to your dude who fails his 4+ ward save on turn 1.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen. Grace here go splat.
A bit rough. You're like, all right, do you just want to reset?
The legends of Craig's Dwarves continue. Cool. All right. Anything else you'd like to share with our beloved listeners? Anything else you want to tell them?
Try contrast paints. They're great. So far, I really like them. Yeah.
Can confirm. Yeah, good shit. So awesome. Cool. Well, it's looking great, Sean. It's great to see some painted stuff here. I'm pleasantly surprised. I didn't realize how good of a painter you were. So it's cool to actually see it. Yeah, man, it's great. Awesome. Okay, well, we'll stay in the land of the dead. We'll move over to the squishy wet undead, as Games Workshop once described them. Eric, all the way in Texas, with a magnificent Rick Grimes beard this month. Love it. I'm on a Walking Dead kick right now, so there might be some more of those references. Yeah, just watched Dale die last night. Fucking heartbreaking. Also, Carl Grimes sucks. All right, he's a stupid character. He should have died in season 2. It's his fault. Dale is dead. Okay, In the lore, it's his fault. I know it's because of the stuff that happened behind the scenes at with Frank Darabont and all that shit. But yeah, watch the episode where Dale dies and tell me Carl's a good person. All right, he fucks over everybody. He steals a gun from Daryl's bike. He's fucking around in the swamp with a zombie. Should have got bit and died. He's dicking around in the barn when they've got the guy prisoner when Shane tells him not to. And then when they go to execute the guy, he shows up and Rick can't do it because his son's standing there. This kid fucked up everything in that episode. If he would have died, it would have been better. Just saying. So that's my TED talk. Anyway, Eric, what's going on? Tell us what you got going on this month.
So this month, I went with my vampire thrall. That's going to be leading my army. I guess kind of in a general vampire counts. I guess vampire thralls can't actually lead. They need a necromancer. But for Sergovi, this is my
They do? I thought as long as it was a wizard in vampire counts.
I don't think thralls are wizards.
Oh, you can't make them wizards? I don't know. It's been so long, man.
I think neckarchs may be able to be. They might have a bloodline power that could.
Oh yeah, because vampire lords, I think, could only be level 3, right? They couldn't actually be level 4 unless it was a neckarch, I think.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so Strigoi cannot be the vampire general, so I need a necromancer for a.
You're in the same boat as Sean then. You have a squishy 2-wound wizard, old man wizard, keeping your army together.
Exactly. So I worked on this guy. He's from the Crimson Court set from Age of Sigmar. I think it's Warcry or Underworlds, one of those two.
Okay.
So he's on a round base, but I figured he's going to be flying around with bat form, so that's okay. So I started with kind of like a bluer skin tone, because I liked that look on the vampires, the Strovies, and then I kind of worked it up to a more like a bluish gray tint. And kept some of the darker blues in the recess. And I kind of did the same with the wings, going from like kind of a black to a lighter gray highlights. I try to spend a little bit more time on this because I've kind of like batch painted everything else in my army. So I kind of try to take my time and kind of go through with different washes and highlights in different areas. So I'm pretty happy with them.
Yeah, he turned out good. He matches the ghouls a little bit too with the skin tone.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to chastise you for only having one model done, but since you've been crushing it the last 3 months and putting us all to shame, you get by. I know you've been busy too.
To be fair, this does bring me to 1,000 points.
Look at this fucking show off.
Army.
This fucking guy.
I have a few more things that I'm going to keep working on. But just the way vampires worked and how I did my units, just technically brings me up to 1,000.
Do you plan to do anything else? Or are you just going to coast by the next 2 months? Be like, yeah, catch up, guys.
So I have a Banshee that I'm finishing up, another the Boxing Day Ghoul King on the throne.
Oh yeah.
That I'm going to try and get built and painted. And then if I have time, I have some 8th edition Vargeists, the like half vampire beasts.
Oh, the monster size, those big bat ghoul things?
Yeah.
Okay.
The more vampire like ones, I have those with the wings. So I may tackle those too.
Yeah, well now it's all gravy, right? You get to add on all the cool stuff now.
Yeah, so if I want to keep going with the back of the Vampire Count Strigoi theme book, back of the book Strigoi theme, I need to at least add the vampire, the Ghoul King on the throne, and the Banshee, because a Strigoi theme cannot take a Necromancer or a Wraith. So those are going to be my next 2, just to kind of keep with the theme.
Gotcha. Cool. Awesome. Well, it looks good. Are you keeping him on the circular base, or do you have like a base converter or anything for him to join the unit?
Yeah, so I'm going to try and find a base converter. especially now that we know that the old world is going to be upscaled on a lot of the bases.
Mhm.
So I want to try and find just a square base that it kind of fits into, and then I'll mold the base around it to kind of make it fit.
Yeah, well, vampires used to be on 20 mils, so we know he'll be on a 25
Yeah.
in Old World. So it's
Yeah, this
easy to
base
do.
looks a little bit bigger than that, but I'll see
Yeah,
if it fits.
you could have like you get a small base that'll be like shaped like a cone, like it'll be wider at the top and smaller at the bottom, like a
It'll just
flying base or
be like
something.
flying, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Well, congratulations on reaching the finish line. I wish I had a bunch of mostly naked guys to paint, because then I would be done too. But instead, I get stuck with these AOS Chaos Knights from Hell. So
gotta make better choices in the next one.
it's true, right? I was like, oh, I'll paint like 20 models. It'll be great. Nope, mistake. All right. Well, we'll move it on over to the chivalrous lands of Bretonia.
Yes.
Brian cranking it out with some serious progress this month. It's all coming
Finally.
together.
It is, yeah. Slow and steady, and then it all seems to kind of happen at once, you know?
Yeah, walk us through what we're looking at here.
So I've got 40 bowmen now that are table ready. I've got one unit of 25 and one unit of 15. That are okay. I didn't, they're meant to be looked at from 3 feet away for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I got those banners up, which I'm really happy with. And I know there's supposed to only be one banner in a unit, but they're Bretonia. Like, these guys need to look at banners all day if they're going to stay on the field. So I, put some extra out there. Plus, I had some men-at-arms models. I don't know if that other image came through. There's one of the 25 unit that I have on the blocks. But I had
I was wondering with your text, as you were like, and here's some more for good measure, and I was like,
maybe you didn't get the first one.
I did not know, so I only have these 4 images.
Okay.
Well, if you can send them later, and I could still add them to the video later.
They're in there.
Are they the ones on the big black movement tree to the left of the archers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll resend that then. But so yeah, they're the unit 25, and they've got some men-at-arms that were holding spears. So I put like little smaller banners with them. They're kind of like, like the guys keeping everybody in line, making sure the braziers are lit and all that, which I still haven't found. But anyway, so I've got 40 bowmen done, which was a big deal. Of course, I've had this basing issue. And everything's going to be on a different scale base now. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to pop all these guys off their bases and put them on new bases, which I probably will end up doing for the old world. And that's why I haven't really kind of fussed too much with that part of the equation. So we'll see what happens with that. But the knights, the unit of knights are mostly done. There's, like every time I look at a photo, I'm like, oh, there's so many touch-ups I want to do. But, again, my philosophy is a little bit like, if I can't see it when I'm just standing over them, then maybe I don't need to worry about it, too much.
Especially if all the errors and touch-ups are on the front of the model, you'll never see that because you'll be looking at the back side of the model
exactly.
when you play. So
exactly. I'll just let the enemy have to focus on that. Like, oh, look at that smudge. Yeah, and same thing with like the damsel here. Like, she's going on a new base for sure, but I just don't know what size it is yet. And I haven't really bothered because I'm just waiting for it all to happen.
She'll be on a 25.
25.
The only thing they have said, all right, despite all the crazy internet insanity, all right, the only thing they've said is if it was on a 20 millimeter in old school, it's going to be on a 25.
Yeah, all right.
And the only other thing they've said is pretty much everything else is going up in size. But the only sizes they said, so for all your infantry, everything in Bretonia was 20, so they can all go up to 25s now.
Oh, cool.
Which is what like Chaos Warriors used to stand on.
Yeah, and I have another one of those Bones damsel models that I think maybe I'll just set this one aside as like a rough draft and use that. It's a different damsel. She looks more kind of like a Greek type. She's got like the flowing robes and stuff like that. So I might just put that one on a proper base, 25 mil base, and then just leave it at that, and like let her be the actual damsel. Had a ton of fun with the banners. I enjoy making those waves with the glue. So there's this kind of process I got to use where I put the glue in the back, obviously, and then try and fold the waves of the banner into as the glue's drying, and then it keeps wanting to like shift, and it takes a bit of TLC, but I love the result, and then I come and touch up the edges a little bit, and make it look a little weather beaten and things like that.
Oh, dude, the banners look awesome. Like, it's pretty much exactly what I envisioned when you started showing us pictures.
Cool. I'm glad. Yeah. And there's one I didn't like plan this, but it kind of worked out. I was looking for banners. Trying to build the theme. Obviously, the Lady of the Lake being the big deal for these guys. And the one banner when she's in front of the bowman, the actual image in the banner looks a lot like the damsel, which I think is really great. With the like red hair and greenish dress, and so it's all like it all comes together. So really, for the future, for the next time, I've got the battle standard bear to do, and I've already started him actually, and then the paladin, the whatever the I guess the general.
Yeah, he's a paladin on the Pegasus, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be on the Pegasus, and that's actually the other images that I sent you. It's a shame. So I did that. So he's gonna be flying up above a tree. And the tree has like the autumn leaf colors, this kind of orangish red. So that's the idea, is that there's like the green color in the army, and then the accent is this orangish red color, which is like the fletching in the arrows and some of the details on the men at arms and things like that.
Cool.
And then and so I've mostly finished the tree. I've still got some work to do, but then there's really just the kind of fun stuff left, just doing the Pegasus and the knight on it, and then the paladin. So those are the ones that I want to spend some more time on and try and make them really look nice.
So once you finish those two characters, that's the 1,000 points is technically done?
I believe so. I gotta look, because I did have the trebuchet in there initially, but I've kind of wiggled the number of bowmen I have. So I got to see if the numbers still add up perfectly, but I think they do, because I think I took the trebuchet out and put the guy on the Pegasus and tweaked the number of bowmen. But I got to just double check.
Cool. Well, I think you and I are about at the same pace here, because I'm nearing the end here too. So, well, cool, man. It's awesome to finally see it all coming together. So,
Thanks.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. Awesome.
I dig it.
Cool. All right, well, I will finish us up here. I had a very productive time, although a lot of it was spent on these fucking nights, man. They dragged out. In total, I mean, it was probably like close to a month and a half, 2 months of working on these guys, just because there are so many details that, painful. They look great now that they're done. Really stoked. I've got them on larger bases. I got... what are they, 30s by 75s, I think, which I had done by Shogun Miniatures. They're magnet bases. The whole base is basically a magnet. So they fit. They looked silly on regular cav bases. They looked ridiculous, actually. So all the people that said keep them on regular cav bases, shame on you. They look stupid. So I'm happy with these, that they're finally done. There's a couple nicks and knacks I could probably go through. Like, I didn't highlight everything. You'll see there's like stupid trophies of like cut off hands and severed heads. I didn't highlight that stuff. That just got a base coat and a wash. But the main thing was the cloaks, that kind of purplish burgundy color. That's a highlight. And once that was done, the red's highlighted too on the weapons and stuff. And I think the horns and the bones got highlights too. So that I think that helps it all kind of pop out and pull it together. I think there's so much of that burgundy on these guys that once that was done, that took forever. I did one guy a day, and it took like an hour per guy, because I'm such a slow painter. So luckily I had a little bit of free time here and there each day. But man, what a pain in the ass. So finally done. Chosen Knights of Chaos, big expensive unit. I think they're like 250 points, so that's a big chunk of guys right there. I want to freehand something on the banner, but I haven't done much freehand in my life, so I'm very scared to try that. We'll see if I can bring myself to, or if I could find a big enough transfer, that'd be great. But I need to do something with it because that big flat banner is just begging for something. So so those are done. And then in between, I actually, about halfway through, 3/4 of the way through, I stopped and I built and painted all 10 of the Chaos Hounds in between this unit, just to break up the monotony. And it saved my soul. It really did. So I've got 10 Warhounds here. I'm probably only going to have 5 or 6 in the army. I was only going to have one unit as like a screening unit, but you get 10 in a box. And as you can see, they were mostly dry brushed, and then just picked out the bones and like some of those weird like growths and tentacles on them. They've got magnet bases as well from Shogun Miniatures. However, you'll see in one of the sets of pictures, I have these movement trays. You guys saw I had this movement tray for the Warriors, which I got from Tectonic Studios. And as you can see in the picture, they don't quite fit. I'm not sure if I did the wrong thing, bought the wrong size, if I got the basis size wrong from Shogun Miniatures, but I didn't even really think to test the size. And then after I finished them, put the magnet strip down and lined them up, I found out that they don't fit. So I was ready to throw them across the room at that point. I was not happy. And Tectonic Studios, I had another one on order for the other unit of Hounds, and I had, I think, another base on order for the Knights, a movement tray. It's been over a month and a half, and I still don't have them. I don't know what has taken these guys so long. They haven't responded. I've sent like 3 or 4 emails. They haven't responded, so I'm a little peeved at them right now because I'd like to have them done. I mean, they work. The magnet bases are awesome. The trays are cool, but yeah, so, but as you can see, quite a lot of progress done. And then I was able to prime the Dragon Ogres. Because the Dragon Ogres don't have much of the armor, so there's not going to be much of the black that I did on the Warriors and Knights. I'm going to do mostly contrast on these guys, I think, especially for the skin. I'm not going to sit and highlight all that skin like layer by layer. So I think these guys are going to end up looking a little bit simpler, but we'll see how the contrast works out. So, but I'm pumped. I'm excited to actually paint these guys. I think it'll be fun, and I'm actually looking forward to this, which after the slog of the Knights, I think will be a nice change of pace. If I get them finished, that is my 1,000 points, a little bit more because there's extra Hounds. So I am considering, if I get these guys done in the month, I'll still have a month left, so I might add on some extra stuff. I thought I had the Games Day limited edition Chaos Sorcerer on foot. I could have swore I did, but I've been digging through all my boxes and I cannot find that bastard. So either I hallucinated or I mistook, because I have 2 of the Chaos Champion on foot with the 2 axes. I'm not sure how that happened. So we might paint him up instead, just add a character that'll break up some monotony, especially with the short month we got coming up here on our end. Maybe I'll pump that guy out in a week or 2. And I also have Brian was kind enough to give me a chariot, which is in pieces. They're all here. I managed to break some of it apart so I could actually get the horses off the reins. They need a little bit of cleaning up. Did your boys put these together, Brian? Because they are riddled with mold lines.
Oh yeah. This was like a fun project when they were younger. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I realized the only piece that's missing is the charioteer's reins. So I was looking on eBay and I think I found replacements. So there's like a little like chain thing that goes off of his hand and connects to the front harness of the horses. There's also this guy, the guy with the weapon, and the weapon's broken, which whatever, that's an easy fix. But look at the size of this cape. It's as big as him. And it goes on, I can't even show you, like the way this thing sits on his shoulder, like, look at that. That looks stupid. Come on. I get there's motion, but this model sucks. I don't like it. So we might put a Chaos Champion instead. I've got the old school one with the 2 axes. Maybe he'll sit in the back, or maybe the Games Day guy, maybe I'll put him in the back instead and have like a character chariot. So, but if I have time, maybe we'll get this guy put together and painted. So rather than buying new stuff, I can, just use what I have. save a couple bucks. So Dragon Ogres are next up on the docket, and then maybe a character or two. I do still have 10 warriors from the Getting Started box, the AOS Getting Started box, but the warriors and knights are a lot of effort to paint, and I don't think I can grind out another one and keep my sanity right now. So I think we'll keep it simple, and eventually they'll get added on at some point. So hopefully these movement trays will show up before this journey of ours ends. Maybe in 2 months I'll finally have them. So, but if nothing else, I can slap them on a magnet strip, and at least I'll just use GW movement trays because I have a ton of those. So all in all, I'm really excited and happy with the progress. I've got it all in the figure case right now, and it looks like a real army. So that's encouraging. It'll help push me over the finish line here. So yeah, we're just about done. So, and for our listeners out there, we are going to be starting up a 40K Tale of Gamers to jump on the 10th edition hype train. We're actually recording our intro episode next week. So by the time this airs, I think in July. Yeah, I think. Well, whatever airs, we've got a 40K one up too. So if you like Warhammer 40,000, go check that out. Brian and Eric will be joining me there along with some new friends. So oh yeah, that Chaos Champion, I've got that one too, Eric, but I'm afraid to use him because he's so rare.
Do you want an extra?
Maybe.
I have one still in blister.
I do too, yeah. I mostly just like it because he's holding the dude. I don't really think the model itself is all that cool, but I would like to convert a guy with that bit of holding that dude by the throat or whatever he's doing. So yeah, we'll see. So well, anyway, listeners, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the progress we've made so far. Show us what you guys are working on. We'd love to see if you're tagging along. Thank you to all the new subscriptions, too. The channel is finally starting to move the needle a little bit. We appreciate you guys hopping on and joining us. We've got more content like this for you planned. And thank you for all the comments, too. We love hearing from you guys, love seeing what you're working on. So, yeah, come reach out to us here on Facebook, wherever it is. Check out the Patreon. You'll hear all that stuff in the intro or outro, so I won't bore you with that. But thank you all for joining us, and we will, I think, see you next time, unless anybody has anything else they want to say or add before we sign off. No? All right, cool. Well, keep on keeping on, folks. Kyle Grimes, down. And we'll see you all next time. Same time, same place. Peace out. Hello, listeners. Great Unclean One here. I just wanted to thank you for taking your time to watch this video. For more content like this, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons? And if you're a fan of role-playing games, then be sure to check out one of our actual play series. We've got campaigns of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, Alien the role-playing game, and Warhammer 40,000 Wrath and Glory, with plenty more to come. Finally, a huge thank you to all of our Patreon members. Your support means the world to us, and you help push the channel to even greater heights. We simply could not do this without all of you. And if you'd like to help support the channel yourself, even more than a like or subscribe, consider joining our Patreon and get yourself some cool rewards. Link in the description below. Thanks again, and we will see you in the next one. Same time, same place. Nighty night.